Let me just say before continuing on with this review that this is going to be a spoiler-free review. Even though the movie already came out a couple days ago, it's past opening weekend, a lot of people have seen this movie. I don't want to give away any major plot details that happens throughout this movie to people who haven't seen it, so you're safe with this video, okay? Okay, let's do this. Avengers Infinity War is, without a doubt, the biggest movie coming out this year. I mean, in my mind, there's no question about it. I don't think there's another movie coming out this year that has this big of a fan anticipation for it. This is also a really big deal for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. First off, it's been 10 years since the first Iron Man movie came out, the movie that started it all. And every single movie that's been made after Iron Man 1 has been leading up to this movie, and my God, was it worth the wait. This is a fantastic movie. It was a total blast from beginning to end. Now, before I go any further, let me just say that I wasn't fanboying out during this entire movie. When I sat down in that theater chair, I made sure to myself that I was focused on every little detail as best as I can that these filmmakers were doing for this movie. Yeah, I was excited, but come on. Anyone who's a fan of these movies has been really looking forward to and excited for this movie. I mean, look at all these Blu-rays in back of me. I'm a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't not be excited for this movie. But by the time it came down to watching the movie, I told myself, I'm not going to let my fanboyisms for these movies and this movie in particular judge on my opinion for it. And with that being said, for me personally, I only had 2 issues with the movie. I'm sure there's dozens of people out there who are making a list of issues that they had for the movie, but for me and my opinions for this movie, 2 issues. That's it. On top of that, this is a fantastic movie. You know, you've probably seen it all over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever they're promoting this movie. They're promoting it everywhere. I'm sure you've heard by now that this movie delivers, but it's honestly true. This movie lives up to the hype that's been building up for 10 years. It's going to be a little hard talking about this movie spoiler-free just because of everything that's going on in this movie. There's a lot that takes place in this movie. But I'm going to be doing it as best as I can. So let's talk about my positives first. And yes, let's talk about the big one, Thanos. Thanos is phenomenal in this movie. Finally, in a Marvel movie, we have a memorable, but at the same time, badass and awesome Marvel villain. Josh Brolin does such an amazing job playing this character, and what they did with Thanos is something that I'm really glad that they did. They humanized him. You know, he's not just a big, badass villain that wants to get all the Infinity Stones and take down the Avengers and, you know, the universe. No, deep down, he has emotions. He has feelings. You know, he might just seem like a villain, but they gave him human aspects, which is, like I said, I'm glad that they did. In a way, we can kind of relate to Thanos a little bit because of those aspects. And that's something that I'm really giving a big thumbs up to the filmmakers for doing. And it's great to see all of these characters finally together in one movie. Every character from Iron Man to Captain America to the Guardians of the Galaxy, they're here in this movie. And something that these movies do really well is having the characters play off each other. You know, it creates a lot of humor throughout the movie. A lot of tension too, but a lot of humor. And this movie does have some really good humor in the movie. It's not just a flat, emotionless, you know, depressing movie. There is a lot of humor in the movie, which is something that a lot of Marvel fans are kind of getting annoyed with, from what I understand. They're getting a little tired of the humor throughout the movie. I don't know what they see. The humor works for me. It's great to see these characters bounce off each other, especially the characters that haven't been together, you know, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, Doctor Strange, all these characters that have their own movies, but haven't mixed with the other Avengers characters. It's great to see them bounce off each other, you know, like the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're sarcastic, and they play great when they're introduced to Thor, which we saw in the trailer. Thor creates a lot of comedy, and also a little bit of friction throughout the Guardians of the Galaxy moments. And it was great to see that. It's great to see all these characters coming together. It really paid off, and like I said, it was really worth the wait. Something else that I really loved about this movie are the set pieces, the planets we go to, the CGI. It's all fantastic in this movie. This is some of the best CGI that I've ever seen in a movie. And not just for the Marvel movies, the Star Wars movies, all the big budget CGI type movies. This movie is really one of the best CGI movies I've ever seen. And this is kind of going to lead into my first negative with the movie. And like I said, all the planets we go to, and like I said earlier, there's a lot that goes on in this movie. And that's true. There's a lot that's happening in this movie. You know, one moment we're with these group of characters, another moment we're at these group of characters. There are a few times where the tone just doesn't really mesh together that well. You know, for instance, we go from a funny moment, a funny scene, you know, with like Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy, to a serious moment with Thanos and what he's doing, back to another funny moment with Iron Man, Captain America, and Spider-Man. And there were just a few times where the tone didn't fit together. And, you know, it's not really a big negative, because it only happened a few times, and, you know, this is a big movie. They're trying to cram together 10 years of movies into one movie. And this is only part one of a movie, so I'm not really saying it's a big negative. I'm just saying I'm just bringing it up because, you know, it is something I noticed, and that the tones just didn't really mesh together on a few occasions. And going off of that is something that's kind of in with the tones, but not at the same time, but I'm still going to count it as one. There were a few characters, two in particular. I'm not going to say who they are. They kind of felt out of character a little bit. But the reason it's like that is because one director made one movie with the character, and the Russo brothers are doing kind of a continuation of those characters from that movie. Now, I'm not saying that the Russo brothers didn't understand the characters. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, the fact that these characters are in this movie together is truly incredible. What I'm saying is, what they did with the characters is just a little bit out of character. Just a little bit. If you saw the movie, maybe you know what I'm talking about. Because like I said, I'm not trying to give away anything. I'm just bringing up the fact that there were two characters in particular that were just slightly out of character. I'm not docking the movie for that. It's just something that's worth mentioning, along with the change in tones. Now, I've mentioned this in previous movie reviews that I've done, and anyone who knows me knows I absolutely hate, with a passion, shaky cam. I absolutely hate it. It gives me a headache. It's a cheap way to film action. It irritates my eyes. But the Russo brothers do know how to do shaky cam very well. I'll give them that. The way they do it is very effective. It still irritates me. But like I said, the way they do it is very effective. And the shaky cam in this movie is very minimum. There is a few moments where there are shaky cam. And that's one of my other negatives. The few moments that do have shaky cam, again, just irritate me. I missed a few things in the movie because of all the shaky cam and the fact that my eyes were irritating and I had to look away for a few moments and like rub my eyes. I absolutely hate shaky cam. And anytime I see it in a movie, I will address it as a negative, even if it works effectively, because it did work effectively. I just cannot stand it, and it's always going to be a negative for me. You can do it as well as you can. Like I said, the Russo brothers do it really well. But I will always count it as a negative because of how much I absolutely hate it. But when it comes to negatives, those are my only two negatives with the movie. The shifts in tones and the very annoying shaky cam that I hate. Besides that, those are my only two negatives with the movie. On top of it, we have a very great Marvel movie that's been 10 years in the making. It's emotional. It's ballsy. I'm so glad this movie took chances. It didn't just play it safe. It actually did things that shocked me. And that's something that I can't praise this movie enough for. It took chances and it delivered all the hype that's been building up for 10 years. I love this movie. Not a perfect movie. Again, no movie's perfect. But I absolutely love this movie. I'm going to give Avengers Infinity War 4 stars. This is easily a recommendable movie for any comic book fan or any fan of these movies in general. Hell, even if you haven't seen any of these movies, I would still recommend seeing it. For example, My parents came with me to see this movie, and they haven't even seen any of these movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they still really liked it. That just shows what a great job the Russo brothers and everyone involved with this movie did. They really knocked it out of the park with this one, and it is not going to disappoint fans in the least. So if you've guys seen Avengers Infinity War, let me know what you thought of it in the comment section below. And what's your favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? For me, it's a tie between Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain America Civil War. I can't pick which one I like more. I like both of them almost equally. So whatever your thoughts on the movie and your favorite Marvel movie are, let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, then hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, then click right here. And I'll see you guys next time.